Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over 5 Fortnite tips/tricks that I wish I knew earlier. Unlike a lot of the tip videos on my channel, these tips aren't going to be limited to just controller players. They work the same exact way no matter which platform you play on. Also, they aren't advanced tips by any means, just super simple things that'll help you as a Fortnite player that a decent amount of people don't really know about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first tip that we're going to be covering in this video involves grenades. Even though grenades are a fairly common item and not generally something average players want to use an inventory spot on, in the hands of a really smart player, they're one of the most powerful offensive options in the entire game. In competitive matches especially, you'll routinely see top players valuing a 6-stack of nades over a lot of the healing options in the game, as well as a lot of various other items. So the reason why an average player may not like grenades is because they likely don't really know how to use them. If you see an enemy or a structure that you want to destroy, and you just kinda look in the air, throw your grenades, and hope for the best, that's probably not gonna end up working the majority of the time. The two most common mistakes you'll see is the player will either underthrow or overthrow the grenade. If you underthrow it, what will happen there is it obviously won't end up reaching the target at all, and therefore deal no damage. If you overthrow it, which seems to be the more common issue, it'll either go past the target and deal no damage, or it'll bounce off the structure and away from the target before it explodes, also dealing no damage. But luckily, there's a trick that makes using grenades so much more simple and effective, and it revolves around the marking feature which was added into the game a few seasons ago. So what you want to do is mark the front of the player or structure that you want to hit with nades. Then you want to make sure that you're roughly 65 meters away from it. Once you've done that, you want to look up in the air towards your marker, because that's what you're going to be using as your indicator for the angle you're throwing the nade at. There isn't really a perfect science here, but you want to position your circle crosshair very near the top of the marker. It doesn't have to be perfect, so just try to get an image in your head of the positioning that you see here. Then, once you're lined up, just spam as many grenades as you have. What you'll see is that the nades will explode right on top of your intended target, which means they won't even have any kind of sound indicator that it's being thrown at them until it's too late. And if you're throwing it at a 1x1, even if it has a roof on top of it, what'll happen is that the first 1 to 2 nades will destroy the structure, and then the remaining ones will destroy the player. This is a tactic that you'll see pros using all the time, and it really is pretty overpowered if you can get it down, since it's almost impossible to counter if executed correctly. The next tip in this video has to do with fishing in Fortnite, but not the traditional way of fishing. So obviously, everybody knows the main 2 ways to fish in Fortnite. You can use a fishing rod or a harpoon. But what a lot less people know is that you can also fish by throwing or shooting an explosive at a fishing spot. However, 99% of the time this isn't practical, because the kind of loot you get while explosive fishing is very nerfed compared to regular fishing, and it's just not worth it to waste a grenade or RPG shot. But there's another way to fish using explosives that's a lot more viable, and that's using the rockets that you can fire while operating a boat. It's actually super easy to do this when you're just traveling across the map normally in a boat. All you have to do is hit the fishing spots with 1 rocket, the loot will pop out immediately, and then you can just drive the boat over it and the loot will either go into your inventory normally, or you can choose to pick it up. Now, as I mentioned, you aren't going to be able to get normal fishing loot by doing this. In my experience, the only things you can get are low rarity weapons, materials, ammo, and the occasional flopper. But it's still a super easy way to pick up maybe 100 to 150 free mats and free ammo without even needing to leave your boat. And I do this all the time when I'm rotating in competitive games especially. Tip number 3 in this video is a really simple one that's been around for a while, but I'm shocked how many people don't know about it. So at the beginning of Chapter 2, Fortnite added a new type of bush onto the map. One that's simply larger and, I guess, bushier than the OG bush from the beginning of Fortnite. And the tip is really as simple as this. If you jump onto these large bushes, you won't take any fall damage no matter how high you're jumping from. And here's a quick display of that as proof. It's definitely a situational tip, that's for sure, but it's also something that I use probably 3 or 4 times a week since these bushes are pretty common in almost every part of the map. So there are times where I'm on high ground and I want to get down, or I'm being shot out so I need to get down. And if I see a bush under me that I know I can land on, that really is a better alternative than just normally water falling down, which is what most people will do in that situation. When you jump straight down, you're exposed for much less time than what you would be compared to building down normally, and you're also saving some mats in the process as well, which is an added bonus. Just make sure that you're 100% confident you can land on the bush when you jump, because I don't want to be blamed for you guys dying to fall damage. And even though I'm mainly highlighting the large bushes here because they're so much more common and easy to land on, this same trick works with bales of hay as well, which are found in farm areas. Next up, we have, without a doubt, the simplest tip in this entire video. Seriously, even if you've only played one Fortnite game your entire career, you'll be able to do this. And the tip revolves around using doors for certain jumps in Fortnite that will end up saving you materials. Sounds a bit weird, and I'll admit it's pretty situational, but hear me out here. So let's say you're in a situation at the beginning of a game where you're low on mats and you're outside of a house with enemies on the first floor and you need to get to the second floor for whatever reason. Sounds pretty realistic to me. What you can do with a lot of houses in Fortnite is jump on top of the open door and then from there jump to the second level of the house. This is a trick you can also use inside of houses where, let's say you break the ceiling and want to jump up to it, but you don't have enough mats to place a ramp. Again, you can just jump on the door and then jump to the above level. It's such an incredibly simple tip that can always save you some mats if you choose to use it, and may even save your life once or twice going forward. Our final tip for this video is one that on the surface is really simple, but it can also be used for some really advanced plays. The tip in its most simple form is this. When you pull out your building menu in Fortnite, you'll be able to edit structures from a decent amount further away than if you were holding your pickaxe or any regular weapon/item. A lot of players have called this tactic blueprint editing, and it's starting to become a bit more popular in the community. Apparently it makes certain high ground retakes and flashy building techniques easier because you get that extra bit of range. Another common use for it that I'm starting to see fairly commonly in box fight wagers is that it allows you to break, replace, and then edit a wall from a far enough distance to where your enemy won't be expecting it. Here's a super quick example of that from Clix that shows how advanced you can really get with this trick. But obviously, that's something that probably 99% of players wouldn't be able to do since it takes an insane amount of quick thinking and mechanical skill, so don't worry too much about it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know the specific tip in this video that you found either the most helpful or just the most interesting, because maybe you already knew all of these. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.